Hey, welcome back to Bizlink. Another opportunity to talk to another business here in the area and help you with your windows and a variety of other services that are going to help you maintain your home, make it look good, and possibly save a bunch of money because you're going to reduce some of your energy bills as well and save you some money and some costs in taking care of your home down the road. So today we're looking at windows as what I started out with. But Chris Costa is going to share with us a bunch of other services at his company, Window Depot, and I believe you're located right here in Raleigh. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, we're located in Raleigh. The family who owns it grew up in Raleigh, so it's a very Raleigh-based company, which is exciting to be a part of.
It is, and that's what I like to promote is all these local businesses. But you guys have your fingers into much more, which helps bring in more services and better products and better support as well. But before we get to that, I want you to tell me about Chris, so we can all get to know you a little bit.
All right, the life and adventure of Chris Costa. So, uh, a long, long time ago, in a very cold place called Chicago, Illinois,
It is cold.
I came to planet Earth in the middle of the 1967 blizzard. And I have never liked the cold since. So my parents, luckily, we moved to Tucson, Arizona, where I was
Wow.
raised, and then I got the acting bug, and I moved to Los Angeles, California, where I acted and did commercials, and I ran a DJ company with my friend who I met in acting school, and then I met this lovely woman named Melissa,
Uh-huh.
and we got married and we were having a child, and she called her parents like 100 times a day, and so I realized that we were going to have to move to North Carolina.
Yep.
So we moved to North Carolina, and I worked at the K&W cafeteria, which they transferred me up here to Raleigh. And then right when COVID hit, my whole life changed, and
It's-
here I am talking to you about windows with two children, a wife, a house, three dogs, a cat.
I told, my gosh, I love that story. I mean, Chicago, I'm from Michigan, so I'm right there with you. That cold, it finally got me after 60 years. I said, okay, enough of that. So I moved down here. My daughter's down here. One of my daughters, both of them are now. And we're enjoying this weather. You know, beautiful people here. I love the people around here in this area, not just Raleigh, but the surrounding towns. It's just, they're just fantastic. I love their personality. I love the way they're accommodating, they're very helpful. And as I'm talking to folks like you with different businesses, I'm learning that expels out into those areas as well. So I want to share some more about that. You're in the window business, but you're not just windows. What are all the different types of product services you guys offer over there?
So Window Depot, we offer, of course, windows. We have two kinds of companies that we get our windows from, which is Provia, and we're now selling Pella windows. And then the Provia company that we get our windows from actually started doing doors. So we also do front doors, side doors, storm doors, patio doors, and then we do siding. We have all kinds of different kind of siding, and a lot of people don't think about siding as really sexy or really, I don't know, cool, but
Mm-hmm.
siding is like the most important thing you could have on your house. You know, it's like a tortoise shell. You know, it protects you from all the elements in your house. And if you don't have good siding, if you have something, it's important to get somebody to look at that and inspect it. So we did the siding, and then we're also in the bath game. So a lot of people are looking to change their bathtubs. So I'll just give you a little story. My aunt, you know, she's older and she's having a hard time getting in and out of her tub. It's
Mm-hmm.
slippery, you know, she needs something to support her. You know, it doesn't seem to work. So a lot of people don't really think about that, but this is really the best time to switch out that old bathtub, put in a walk-in shower or a nice walk-in bathtub so that you can sit and relax or take a nice shower and not worry about falling. So
Mm-hmm.
we offer those services as well. And then we have gutter guards, and we keep the leaves, pine straw out of your gutters. And so, you know, funny fact about that too is, you know, I had to clean my gutters. And in cleaning my gutters, we had to do that. And so me and my son were doing this chore. And then my wife just about had a heart attack when handed my son the ladder for the next level of gutters to clean out. So we went and got some gutters. So all these things, all these services, I think as a person, we don't think about, what do we need, we always think about what we want, but we don't think about protecting ourselves, our homes, and those are the things why we live in the houses that we live in, is to protect us from the elements.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things I'm doing with my house. I've had this for just over a year now, and I'm constantly bringing it up to date. It's 42 years old, so it's constantly needing some repairs and brought up to today's specs, if you will, because it's way behind for sure. You and I, when we first met, we start talking windows. So tell me a little bit
Right.
about the window part first, and we'll get into the other ones.
The window part, I think the most important part about, we don't think about our windows
Mhm.
is that they are you're kind of like a wall. I look at it, and it's just a sheet of glass.
Right.
But now that they make these windows, they're much more thicker. They put argon gas in it, and it keeps your house warmer, the ambient temperature in your house, so it keeps your heating in, your air conditioning in, and the windows today are so much better because you don't hear the sound that you heard in the past.
Mhm.
So we just did a house that was in Raleigh, and they had the oldest wood windows that you could possibly have. And, they have that little latch, that's made out of brass, and you try to lift it up, and some of them were painted, and people are struggling to open those windows. And what's really cool about the windows today, you could actually unlatch it with a double latch and use one finger to lift it up.
Oh, that's just a
And
huge difference.
then cleaning the windows, and this has been around, but you can fold that window inside and get clean the outside. And what a lot of old wood windows would never do, because it was pretty solid glass up there, is that the top sash on windows today can come down, and you can clean them just as easy as cleaning the bottom window. So a lot of conveniences in cleaning, maintaining, strength. So Provia, which I brought up, is the number one window that we have,
Mhm.
and it's so well constructed, and the people who construct those windows are Mennonites, which is from the Amish, but they
Mhm.
use electricity, and so they put a lot of time and care in building their windows. And so that's it doesn't sound sexy, it doesn't sound really cool. Ooh, I'm gonna go get new windows. But
Right.
then once you have the new windows and you can actually see the beauty of outside and not hear all your neighbors yelling and screaming, or the kids fighting over who gets the ball next, you're going to enjoy your life so much better in your home.
Oh, I totally agree. My last house I built had the double pane windows, the argon, things like that. And I've come to this house, it's 42 years old, has the old wood windows with the single pane. They actually had a storm window on it, which just like blew my mind. I haven't seen those
Mm-hmm.
since I was a kid. But the noise, I can hear massive more noise from these things for sure. And you talked about the noise as well. I can't even imagine what the new windows look like today. So it's got to be way better. You're saying it's thicker glass. You guys are using a
Thicker
better.
glass, and then Provia is a vinyl window, so they're
Okay.
easy to clean. They don't fade. Like, you don't have to paint them. You don't. I mean, it's so maintenance free when it comes down to it, and your
That
house looks so much cleaner, brighter, inside and out. It's just amazing.
Oh, it is. It's huge. Now, I've noted. Now, my house is in an area, an older established neighborhood, where it has lots of mature trees. So I got a lot of help for keeping the sun off me. But you probably run into a lot of homes that sit right out in the sun or just baking. So how do these windows help us in those situations?
So some of them have, I want to say, a tint would be a fair word. So it helps keep the sunlight. You get the light, but yet you don't get the baking sun burning inside. And then as for, because it will bounce that energy out. And I think some people go, oh, they bounce energy and burn my grass. But I haven't seen that happen.
I haven't either.
Oh, I don't know. Some people have the craziest ideas sometimes, but what's amazing is that, you know, like in my house, I have new windows.
Okay.
Is that I lived in a house that was built that was from like 12 years, and when we moved into this house, what was amazing about it was that it stays warm and it stays cool. constantly. And that's the amazing part of the whole thing.
It is.
Come on. My dog, I didn't realize, escaped and went upstairs.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
I can imagine what kind of havoc was up there.
yeah. I do know this when I because they're single pane windows, I was watching as the temperature changes this time of year, and you can actually see them fog up from the different temperatures for sure. So what you just said about being staying warm, staying cool, that's going to be a big difference because I believe you got like great seals in these things to help keep that out or in, whatever may be the
Right.
case. Yep.
So, the wood windows didn't have very much sealant.
Hmm.
They just put with glass, caulk, and wood. These are sealed to keep all temperature and weather out of your house.
Hmm.
Well, the protection of your house is important, and then looking out your window. Not having my old windows are fogged up.
Yep.
You get, from the rain and the moisture and everything, and the sun out here kind of dries things and makes your headlights fog up. Your windows get
Oh,
fogged
it
up just as
does.
bad, and it's really hard to get that hard. I guess it's more like calcium that kind of gets in there,
Hmm.
and then you just builds up and you can't see. And then it's kind of like, when you get your eyes checked,
Hmm.
right? And you go, oh, I
Yep.
can see just fine. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, what am I missing? I don't know.
It's a huge difference. Yeah, mine are
It's
terrible. It's terrible for sure. So, but another thing I think you were talking about too was, like the pine trees. We're in that season now where the pollen's dropping, and when you've got a good window in place, I'm sure it's keeping the pollen on the outside and keeping you on the inside away from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you have, with the old windows, there's always some seal kind of broken, or maybe it's not closing all the way, and all that outside stuff comes in. So then you don't have to dust as much. You don't have to
Hmm.
clean. It's amazing. You don't think about how much, like when the green stuff really hits,
Hmm. Yeah.
how much really comes. And those trees just kind of just goes everywhere. So even in your house, you can check it in with your shoes, but just think, one good windy day that's blowing inside your house, and now you might have more allergies. It's going to make your heating system have to work harder because of the
Correct.
filters, so on and so forth. So it's important
Absolutely.
to seal that house up.
Oh, it really is. So how does this work? I mean, let's say, hey, Chris, I need some windows. I'm thinking about windows. What's the process for me to get you to come out and talk to me about windows? How does this work?
So the sales consultant comes out, goes out, and they measure your windows. So all our windows are custom made for your house.
Okay.
So, like, I think, you go to other places and they might measure, or, you go to Home Depot, like, for an example,
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much like a standard window, but this window is made for your house.
Okay.
So we measure your window, we go through the process. And so some people, they have grids on their windows, some people don't have grids. And some people like the grids, some people don't like the grids. So all these little things change. And then there's different levels of how you can have your window.
Mm-hmm.
You can have, a nice echo light, which is a thinner glass, not as much um, sun being bounced off your house,
Mm-hmm.
but you still get light and so on and so forth, to a very strong, excuse me, indoor window where that you don't get all that heat and sun. So it just depends on your energy efficient on your window. Also in the measurement, how it's going to look.
Mm-hmm.
Where we take out that old window and replace it in that same space. So
Oh,
most
okay.
of the time it takes one day for us to replace that window.
Oh,
But
get
the
out of
salesman,
here.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. So, all kinds of shapes and sizes windows. Some people, they might go, oh, I have this little flat window right here. I would love to have like a garden window. We can do that. Just all, always believe the world is your oyster when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to your what you want and your needs. And the more light that you can get in, just like, especially, I was just thinking about the garden window. How neat it is, how people like to do herbs and spices in
Right.
your kitchen, and how a lot of kitchens always have that window right there, and you put a
Mm-hmm.
garden window in there. You can just put your, spices and stuff there and just pick it, whatever you need, and you don't have to worry about moving them outside to get them sunlight. You don't have to worry about keeping them away from the cold, or whatever. So it would be it's a perfect seasonal um, thing to have is our garden windows. So yeah, any kind of window that you can think of, big picture windows, little circle windows, in colors. We do white, beige, black. So there's all kinds of different things that can match your house.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah,
So
I'm starting to see some differences here in this area. There's a lot of construction across in our areas because we're growing. And I'm starting to see a lot of variety here, which is really kind of cool instead of just an old cookie cutter type thing out there. But I love that idea where you guys can come in most cases, be in and out in a day. I mean, that is just way cool. I mean, to imagine that many windows being exchanged out and taken care of. Do I have to take care of everything, or when you guys come in, you do the whole thing?
we do the whole thing. So it just depends. Like blinds, for an example, there is a charge. We do charge for blinds taking down,
Okay.
and you move your curtains. So you can move your blinds, or we can do that for you.
Okay.
But other than that, no, we pretty much have everything flat and make sure that the area is clean. And the most important part about us, our company, is we don't have I'm trying to fit the word, but we have our own contractor.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
on staff. He gets paid. There's no 1099 guy.
Okay.
So they come in, our installers do the work, they work for us.
Okay.
So their pride and everything comes from what they do. And the best part is that there's on the window that you purchase from Provia is a
Hmm.
lifetime warranty. So no matter what happens, that they'll replace it, and our guy will come out and fix that for you. So that's the best part. Where if you ever dealt with Lowe's or Home Depot on something, and I'll just tell you, like, I bought this refrigerator in my house from Lowe's, and
Hmm.
there was something wrong. I call the store. Oh no, you got to call this 800 number. You call this 800 number. Then they say, okay, you need to be transferred to this long extension. And that extension, they tell you, oh, okay, well, you need to talk to this person. And they transfer you to that person to finally say, you know what, my refrigerator wasn't set up correctly. The water line's not right. I need somebody to fix it. Oh, we'll have somebody come out for you in 3 weeks,
Right. Right.
right? With us, we hear about the problem. We try to schedule it within that week because we have our installers
Hmm.
and staff.
Hmm. That's good. I mean, that saves a lot of headache for sure. And we're all busy. We all got things going on, and to have to stop and be frustrated with those little things that just add up significantly. So we just make one phone call, and you guys are on it, taking care of it. That's kind of
Right.
cool. I like that. I like that idea. So, like gutter guards, and I love that story. So many times, DIYer, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
We go out there to tackle something. Like I had a friend fall off a ladder
Right.
and it messed up his ankle. He was out for months on end. So now, did he save any money? No. He actually lost in that deal. There's other cases as well in those situations. The gutter guards, such an important thing in this area, whether it be the pine needles, whether it be the leaves, whatever it might be, can save you significant money on how much you have to cleaning these things out, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, you think about your house is supposed to keep you safe, right?
Uh
So you're not being safe if you're up there trying to clean your gutters,
huh. It's pretty spooky up there sometimes.
and if you have a wife like me that would be yelling and screaming for doing acrobats off the side of the house, then you probably shouldn't be doing that. And then if you think about the gutter guard, you won't have to pay every year for somebody to come out and clean out your gutters.
Oh, that's
You
yeah.
just
You have
it's
to.
it's it's maintenance free, so it's a one-time pay, and it will pay for itself within at least 2 years. Because if you think about it, that person that comes out, they have
Hmm.
to clean out the gutter, and then if something breaks on that gutter when they're trying to do it, they have to replace that gutter. With gutter, there's nobody replacing anything because it's just water's going through there, and it's
Hmm.
going to operate just the way it needs to go.
Excellent.
And the other great part is a lot of people don't understand about your gutter. If it's full and that water can't go down the drain,
Hmm.
it's going over the side of your house.
It
When
does.
it goes over the side of your house, you start getting, you can have roof problems.
Yep.
You can start having siding problems. So it's just a whole myriad of new things. Like if you give a mouse a cookie. So,
Exactly. Exactly. I learned that it's one of the first things we did is then made sure the roof is good. Then we got to the gutters and the guards right off the get go because I wanted to get that water away from the house. You're absolutely right. If it don't get away, it's going in your crawl space. You're going to have problems down that too. So that's a big, big plus making sure that's taken care of. How long does it take usually to have somebody come out and do that service?
It's another day service.
Okay.
Basically, they'll come in the morning and they're pretty much done by the afternoon. I mean,
Okay.
it's not very, unless you have, a 50,000 square foot mansion, and I would
Right.
imagine it would take more than a day. But in a normal house, a day.
Well, that's good. That's good to know too, because if you're planning something, maybe you got an event coming up, it'd be nice to have you guys come in, knock it out, get out, and then go on about their business. What about siding? Siding's a little bit more intense at putting that up.
It is intense. So that part, not too sure on the process, depending on how big your house is
Okay.
and
Yep.
what needs to happen. So what I learned in my dealings, talking to people and through the sales process, is some houses in code, when the house was built, they didn't have to wrap it.
Oh yeah.
So then they have to, we take off the siding and the house isn't wrapped, we have to wrap the house.
Yep.
All that's not having your house wrapped with, you probably see it says Lowe's paper or,
Right.
whoever. Without that wrapping, that really keeps your house even more sealed. Keeps the water out, keeps mold out, so on and so forth. And a lot of people I talk to, they have a lot of mold problems now because their houses weren't wrapped, because that wasn't the standard. But now it is. So we'll go in, we'll wrap your house, put on the new siding. So that could take 2 to 3 days. I think it just all depends on what your needs are on that house.
Sure.
And that's where it's important that you should have a professional look at your house. If it's windows, if it's, just getting your patio painted, everybody goes, oh, just give me a quote. How much is it going to cost? And you're like, here's the true deal. Wouldn't you be really mad if somebody said it's going to cost me $200 to do something, and then they get there and they hand you the bill and it's $2,000
Right.
because they didn't know that there was wood rot. They didn't know that you had mold, that they had to remove XYZ, that, you had all kinds of problems. I like to know beforehand. I'm
Right.
very proactive. So it's great to have somebody come out that understands what's going on, measure, look, inspect, and then give you the price that it's going to be, and say, hey, you know what, Mr. Jones, I noticed that, you have a lot of wood rot here. We need to replace that. And for us to do that, it's going to cost this much more. Because I think it really makes people mad. They go, well, I thought it cost $200. Well, you give me a $4,000 bill. You're being shady. You weren't being honest. But being the honest way is to have somebody actually go out, give you a true estimate, and take care of that.
Yeah, that's very important because I've done some houses and then the remodels also, and you think you're getting into one thing, but if you haven't done it before, you will get surprised more times than not of what's going on underneath, for sure. Just like you said, that stuff will get in there, and that guard, that material they put on it does make a huge big deal, but it takes a little bit of work on your guys' part. So just for the average home, sounds like less than a week you guys can be in and out taking care of business.
Absolutely.
That's cool. All right, so we got the gutters, we got the guards, we've got the siding, we've got some windows, doors. Tell me about the doors.
Doors, gosh, you don't think about your door either, right?
You don't.
And you know what? Here's a strange fact when I was looking up, the return on your investment. So the two things that you get the biggest bang for your buck, and we don't sell this, your garage door and your front door.
Okay.
And as somebody who's in real estate, what does everybody like? Curb appeal, right?
Absolutely.
And that door says everything about your house, right?
It does.
So somebody comes to your house and they see an old, beaten up, chewed up from the bottom door. They're like, I don't know if I really want to enter your house, right? But they see a big, beautiful wood door with beautiful glass, be it stained or not stained, and they're like, oh, I want to go inside your house.
Yep.
And it's just amazing. And people aren't writing this, on Facebook. Oh, Mr. Jones's door is disgusting. I don't want to go to his house. But this is that's your first impression, I think, of people. Doors like your front door. We don't think about how things are built, right? So wood doors. So we get sideways rain, we get all kinds of wind, we get all kinds of things that are happening, and doors rot. And so what's really cool about a Provia door is that there's a composite that they make their door with. And with that composite, it helps from wood rot. And then
Hmm.
above, they use the wood. And you can have any kind of door that you want, when it comes down to it. And that's what I always think is amazing. And you're seeing doors now with a three kind of latch system
Hmm.
for more protection, so nobody can just kick in your door. So you have more safety now with that, and then sealing. We don't think about that sweep, right, on the
Hmm.
bottom, but that sweep is the most important because then you don't have like little critters coming in.
Right.
You don't have wind blowing dirt and dust in, having all your ambient air flying out of the house. I'm sure you heard this growing up. What were you, you leave the door open? What were you born in a barn?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so just having an old door is kind of like that old adage, were you born in a barn?
Right.
So a lot of people don't think about, that when it comes to your front door, your patio door, again, it's glass, it protects you, but there comes a time where, a new patio door is helpful because whether just the glass, how things are, and just putting up a new patio door, or, let's say you want a storm door, like a nice screen door
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
glass screen door to protect you. So if you open up your front door, you can see the outside, but yet you don't have to have the outside elements coming in. So doors really, and we again, they're not sexy. I say
Hmm.
buying this stuff is kind of like buying underwear. We don't think about buying underwear,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I had
but
to have one replaced a while ago, and it was an old wood door, like you talked about. It is exactly what you're saying. The sweep was missing. The seals were bad. It was a little bit warped. It'd been damaged from the rains that we get here in this area. And when that new one went in there, it was like night and day. So absolutely, I hear what you're saying with those. And it sounds like the composite one you're talking about. I had a house project I did. I'd used that composite, and it's probably been 25 years now, and
hmm
I know the owner, and they said they still love that door. So those things really hang in there way better than what I think a wood door or something like that for
right,
sure.
yeah. It's just a door. We don't think about it. We don't think
You
that it's
don't.
really, but on your return on investment, it's like a 98% return on your investment on that front door,
Hmm.
where I think the garage door was like 110.
Okay. Okay.
That, again, you don't think about doors that way, but yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's just one of those things that, we don't think about the return on that investment.
Right. Right. How long does it take to, let's say an entrance door, just your average, how long
Again,
does
probably a couple hours. It just depends on what is
really?
going on.
Okay.
So, the door isn't just the door that we change out, we change the whole door frame out.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the reason why is that we want to make sure that your door is sealed, because a lot of people go, oh, just put a new door up, and then it's not about, then they don't balance it right. And then you try to open the door and it's kind of crooked. We take out all that. We put it all new that's going to fit with your door. It's going to seal. It's going to make it totally compliant to making sure you get weather, no bugs, and then it works the way that you expect it to work. Or you just hang up a door up from Lowe's, it's just not going to be right. You're going to be very, very dissatisfied.
True. True. And I've done that before. I've actually just done the door only to find out that the frame was a problem and it wouldn't seal right. So it's just better to do the whole thing. You're right there, get it done now, and it'll last for years on end for sure. Especially some of those ones you're talking about. So you can get it in all kinds of glass, no glass. What are the
Right.
types?
And so one of the coolest part about Provia, and when the sales consultant comes in, they have this, and you
Okay.
can look and put what color door did you want?
Oh
What kind of
wow.
glass do you want? What kind of, side lights do you want on the side? What, do you want, stained glass? Do you want clear glass? Do you want some kind of foggy glass where people can't see in, but you can
Mm-hmm.
see out? Just all kinds of different options.
All right.
Do you want a metal door? Do you want a wood door? Do you want, it's fun. You don't even think about how much fun it is just to put like a new design, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that with the door. Oh
Oh
my goodness,
yeah.
and locks, and how your door handle is, and where does it fit, and how, this to me, my wife and I always yells about making sure the door is closed all the way.
Okay.
right?
Yep.
It's like every night. I just saw even a meme about it. Like I could be like halfway asleep. Is the door locked? Is it shut all the way? You're like, oh my God, you know? So that's, those are the things that you look at too. Like once you close that door, is it really going to be sealed?
Right.
Is it going to be closed? Is it going to lock the way you expect it to lock? So you get to see all that stuff in the sales presentation too.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Somebody can help you walk through that for sure.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of options. I know there is. So that's good that you guys take the time to do that. Because it can be overwhelming sometimes seeing
Yeah.
all that.
And, it could be a left-handed door. It could be a right-handed door.
That's
So how it
true.
opens, it could go open, towards your porch. It could open towards your house. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going
There
on.
really is. That's so cool. What other products or services do you guys offer besides what we
Well,
talked about?
the last thing I guess is the bathroom. The bathroom,
The
we didn't really
bathroom.
talk about the
No,
bath.
we didn't.
So what's amazing about baths, and we don't think about it, is that when the house gets built, they put in this fiberglass tub or they put in a fiberglass shower.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as we get older, we don't think about what our wants and our needs are when we buy this house,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or when we bought the house from the next person or whatever.
Right.
But there's things that can happen as you get older or even as you're younger that you don't think about, a shower.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure like people have gone to hotels with a tub and that shower curtain and they go and they have a bunch of water on the floor, right?
Right.
So here's the thing, you could change out that so you don't have that problem. Like my kids, they would be Ethel mermaids in the bathroom, and so we changed it to something a little bit bigger, a little bit more oval where the water didn't splash.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to take a shower, we got a better curtain, better, move. Then we don't think about cleaning that. As time gets old, you might have a house that's 1928 and
Mm-hmm.
you might have to change that tile and that mold and it's hard to clean and your tub's not as as I forgot the word, not as, so that, everything just sticks now on it, doesn't bounce off of it. So you
Right.
replace that, like iron tubs, you'll see rust or
Right.
stuff like that. So the best part is, we just go out again in one day, we rip that out.
Wow.
Um, Bath designer comes in and shows you the options, what we can do to your wet space if you just want to make that a shower instead of a tub.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important, especially as I kind of touched about being older, you don't think about, when we're young, lifting our leg, 2.5 feet
Right.
might not seem very much, right? But now when you get older, 2.5 feet, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So you need to hold on to something.
Or not going
You
on.
know, right. And you just can't drill in, unfortunately, a hand bar
Right.
because you're going to break some tile. You might get some leakage when
Yeah.
the shower is going through. And then you're going to have a whole nother problem of rat behind that wall.
Oh, absolutely.
So replace your space, get the handles that you need so that you can actually step in, and you have enough space to do it. Because a lot of people don't think about I think, can you hear me? I think
Yeah.
I lost my, okay.
You're good.
But think about that as we get older or if we get sick, how hard it is to maneuver
Right.
ourselves into doing something that's simple or getting a seat. Maybe you just have a fold up seat so you don't have to use it
Mm-hmm.
or even build a nice bench. And then you could always, I always think of the most coolest thing you could do because I love being in the shower. My wife, she goes, you're always in the shower. And I go, I love it because I love the hot water and
Yeah.
everything. I'm like, well, you know what I wish I would have done when we built this house? She goes, what? I would have put three like nozzles that just throw steam
That'd have been
and I can
cool.
just sit down on the bench and just, these are things that we don't think about, but this is your opportunity, especially if they just slam in like
Yep.
a tub and the showers, then you can use your imagination of what would you like, And of course, we can always change the shower head to one top and one on the bottom, but how about those safety handles? How about, non-slip, something so you don't slide
Right.
when you get older. Maybe you need more space because you can't walk in, so maybe you need to bring your walker into the shower with you.
True. True.
So these are things that we don't think about. But again, this is what I think about your house is supposed to be your safe haven. So you
Okay.
should be doing things that are safe. Do these things cost money? Of course, everything costs money,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd rather be safe and not worry, about anything other than that, because this is what my house is supposed to be. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be my safety place
Right.
to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that idea of it's not just elderly though. For sure, people that might have some type of handicap or something, or maybe you just had surgery or something of that nature. Having those showers where you can get in and get out without having to traverse over a 2 foot wall. I mean, it's big for sure. So that makes a big difference.
And then like today's walk-in, there's a tub where you can just walk in. It kind of looks like a jacuzzi. You just
Hmm.
walk in, close that little door, sit down, put
Wow.
on, and it's just, and you're like going, oh, how easy is that? You know?
It really is. It is. Yeah, and I just put in a tankless water heater in the last year. It's my first one, and I love it. I mean, you could. I'm getting like you. I like going in there and taking a shower. Now I don't have to worry about that hot water because it's
Hmm.
it's not going to stop until I say stop, which is really nice. And it is. I don't have all the sprayers yet, but someday I
I
think
know
that's a cool
we don't think
idea.
about it,
You
right? We don't
don't.
think
Unless you
it's
go to
just
a hotel or something, a fancy place, it's
right.
got them, and you think, "Oh gosh, I would love to have those." But you
Wouldn't I
can
love
do
to
it.
have? Yeah, so we can do those things. We can you know, make that space into what you want.
Okay.
Those are things that we do. And I know people think, the kitchen is the sexy thing because we're
Right.
always in the kitchen, but the return on your bathroom, the return on your windows, the return on your doors, those are your high return in your investment.
They truly are. Yeah, definitely curb appeal. If you're thinking of selling your home, those are things you should be thinking about because it does make a huge impact on that person walking through. How 2, 3 years ago it was different. People were just buying whatever, but it's changed. It's come back to where you need to put a little bit of time and energy into your home. Keep it up, make it look good. If you're thinking of doing that, you will get your money back for sure. I always found that when you have a good curb appeal and people see that, they're thinking, hey, I'm going to move into this beautiful home. I don't have to touch anything. It's already taken care of. That's nice because I'm kind of the guy that's a DIY. So I go in and I think, okay, I got a lot of work. That's okay. I understand that, but it's not everybody's cup of tea by any means. I've got some kids that are like, Dad, all we want is a home we walk into. We don't have to touch anything. Totally get it. Totally understand.
And you doing it yourself, and I always thought, oh, why does a professional make it look so easy? Is because they know what the problems are going to be ahead of time,
They
where
do.
I don't know what that problem's going to be. I'm like, oh, I can just go ahead and take
Yeah.
the trap under my sink and get that out, and then next thing you know it, you didn't notice that, hey, the pipe that goes into the trap is rotten, so when you twist that pipe you break it, and now you got to,
Hmm.
it's just like little things
You
that
do.
you know, professionals know how to look at and do, so that they don't have to work even harder.
Yep. So true. So true. I've seen so many times I've gotten a project. I would say probably 95% or more. When you get into it, there's always, always, always something else. And that's where the professional comes in and they say, I already know what I'm going to run into over 95% of the time. So I want to give you a heads up and we will make sure that we take care of that and take care of that right. So that's huge. That's huge for sure because I can tell you some stories I've seen throughout the years where somebody got into something and it was way over the top of their head and it cost them exponentially more to do that because they had to hire a professional come back in and repair all the mess that they made.
I know, it's just it's crazy. Like, I mean, I used to like take pride in like being able to like do the yard.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I can put the grass in, I can do this, I can do that, and take pride in knowing that, what, I can actually change the light socket. But now I'm like, you know what? I got four of them. I'm just gonna have somebody come in and he can do it in like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and I don't have to worry about
Not even think
with
about it.
anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of the things you have to think about for sure. I mean, with our busy life, let's get it right. Let's take care of it. Let's have the professionals come in and take care of it.
And if they mess it up, I can go yell at them.
Yeah, exactly.
My wife then yells at me.
That's the other part we don't talk about. We don't talk about that little piece there that's actually kind of huge. I mean, you have to put up with somebody that's not happy in the house. And that's not a fun game either, for sure.
And it being there, it's not just that day. It could be 4 years from now. You remember when you did XYZ?
I still got a couple of those stories for sure. Well, listen, Chris, I tell you what, we could keep talking all day long.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
talking to you. I love that some of the services that you guys are offering for sure. What's the best way to get a hold of you so we can get a hold of it and have you come out and do some estimates for us?
So the best way is for us to come out and get an appointment. You guys can reach me by email, Chris at windowdepot.raleigh.com,
Okay.
or you can call us, go on our website, tell
Okay.
them that, you heard this podcast, and we will take good care of you. We'll give
Okay.
you 10% off, and we will definitely extend our estimate, which is kind of unheard of for 1 year. And we'll do that
Wow.
for you guys. So anybody who mentions the podcast will do that. And I think in today's market, especially after COVID, prices change
Hmm.
every day. Things go up,
They
up, up,
do.
up. I don't see it go down, down, down. So if you lock in your estimate, let's say, hey, I'm thinking about doing windows, but I don't want to do it exactly right now.
Hmm.
We'll give you a 1 year estimate, and then you could get your windows in for, this year's price of 2024 if you decide to do it in January 2025.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Sure. We're seeing the cost continues to go up on things. So it's a great way to give yourself a breather, think about it, and then take if we need financing, do you guys do that too?
we do have financings. What we'll do is when the sales consultant comes out, they'll go through that process with
Okay.
you.
Okay.
There's a couple options that we have that they'll go through that with you.
Okay. That'll make it a little bit more painless right there for sure.
Right. I know there's 0%. Everything kind of changes when it
Hmm.
comes down to it, because sometimes it could be X months, it could be another X months. So I don't have that answer
Right. Nobody
when it is
does.
this week.
Yeah. Okay, so Raleigh, I know you said Raleigh, but how far out do you guys go? What's your circle?
So the farthest so far, I think we've been out. We've been to Goldsboro.
Okay.
I think we've been to Fayetteville. So we did a sunroom. So yeah, we do sunrooms too. So if you want to enclose your porch,
Oh, there you
we
go.
we enclose it with glass. So that was one little thing I forgot to tell you guys,
Okay.
because I'm old. I forget things. I can't believe how old I am sometimes. It makes me happy to know that I can now eat off the IHOP senior menu.
That's so
But
nice.
um,
So you guys
so
are
we've been
reaching
to
out quite a distance.
we go up quite a distance. So it also depends. Like, we're not going to go. If you have one window, it's not.
Right.
We're not going. But if you have, depending on how many windows you have, so on and so forth, that's the distance as well, and what the job is going to be.
Okay.
So
All right. That's good to know. That really is because there's a lot of homeowners that are thinking, "Oh, he's just Raleigh," but you're not. You guys are reaching out around our whole community, the Tri-County area, if you will.
yeah, exactly.
And
So
that's
Durham, I mean,
yeah,
Carborough. So down south, wherever the need is, we'll come to you and take care of you.
that's awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to talk about your products and services you offer. I love anybody that's local that wants to make a difference in our community, and I appreciate what you're doing. To all the listeners out there that are thinking of sharing their businesses or would like to, get a hold of me at Bizlink Unscripted, and we will try to hook up with you and get your word out there as well. Because if we help each other out, it's going to make a huge impact in our community. It's all about being a family here. We're one big tribe, and if we pull together, it makes a huge difference. Chris, thanks again for helping out and sharing with us what you had to say.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Yep.